Currently, we're refreshing between 35 and 50 products a year, and we're planning to maintain that pace in 2025, along with other enhancements to our membership model for both our consumer and commercial customers.
There it is, right there. That's
including the U.S. Consumer Gold Card, which is particularly appealing to Millennial and Gen Z consumers. So our card members, while they like the rewards, they also like all the experience and the access that we put around it. And so by making sure that we're balancing our investments in these areas, we're able to give people the best of both worlds.
Meanwhile, if you just look a little bit, you can see, all the people who have since canceled or have thought about canceling their platinum cards or gold cards and what have you.
Yeah, as you pointed out, I'm not going to talk about refreshes, but I think it really comes down to...
He's not going to talk about them, guys. All right, let's just drop it there. He's not going to talk about refreshes. Is American Express finally going to revamp and refresh the Amex Platinum card, raise the annual fees, change the design? Well, I just went through the entire earnings call with American Express. It's about an hour long, and I found some interesting insights into their roadmap into the future of refreshing about another 35 to 50 card products in 2025 on the back of this morning in our Discord, which is linked down in the pinned comment below, of an article here by Doctor of Credit, where they actually mention rumor American Express planning platinum refresh card with mirror finish. Now, this is all rumors, right? And nobody knows what's going to actually happen with this card, but apparently there's one source that's mentioning that there's going to be a mirror finish with prototypes already being created. Who knows how these things leak, if they're even true, but if it's one thing that does happen in the credit card community, is the community is very good at finding leaks. I mean, that's how we knew that the Amex Gold card was going to refresh like about a month before it actually did. It was little rumors like here and there, and that's why I decided to go through the earnings call to hear what they actually said and why I do think that it is quite possible that they do refresh it in 2025. But we'll talk about it. And now, just a quick little bit of history here. The Amex Platinum card had an annual fee raise from $550 to $695. I was one of those who had a $550 annual fee, and it was fully refreshed July 1st, 2021, and adding some credits along the way. So it's been about 4 years, or maybe a little less than 4 years, since we've had the last refresh. We know that the Amex Gold card just had a refresh to $325 annual fee just in October last year, but we do know that it basically, the last time it had been refreshed was 2018. So it really took about 6 years originally to change the annual fee initially. And then the Amex Green card has had a revamp back in 2020, January 1st, from $95 to $150. And it's leaving people to wonder, like, are we getting a revamped Amex Green card yet? Now, there's something that I heard on this earning call that I thought were fairly interesting that I'll just mention now, and then we'll hear it in a second. But something like this, where on the earnings call, Steven Squeri, the CEO, was mentioning a lot about how their international consumer base and for all their business base is actually growing very, very well in 2024. And they're actually thinking of making some more changes in 2025 should this growth increase. Now, they mentioned this on the consumer side as well as the business side. And I thought it was interesting because not too long ago, some people have sent me like, oh, the Amex Platinum card, the Charge card nerfs Priority Pass. And I was like, what is this? Come to find out, it's actually in some other country. Is this one included, which is the American Express Platinum card being revamped back in September in India, adding new perks and hikes the annual fee. And we've seen some annual fee increases with Canada as well. So we're starting to see the Amex Platinum cards start getting refreshed all around the world, everywhere except for America. And so I thought that was fairly interesting. But now I want to go into the call because here's where you could get a lot of insight into what the minds of American Express, that what they're thinking about the future. Now, of course, I'm going to get into predictions a little bit later, but we want to listen to this earnings call because you'll actually hear some very interesting things. And for those who are not familiar what this is, essentially every single quarter, American Express and any public company on the stock market is going to put out their earnings call. It's essentially what they did for the year, what they did for the quarter, and potential roadmap for the future of the company. Okay, so let's see what the CEO has to say.
With that, let me turn it over to Steve.
Thank you, Kartik. Good morning, and thanks for joining us. 2024 was another strong year for American Express.
I'm sorry. Do you hear that accent? Every time I hear him, I have to remember Queens, New York. He said, we had a strong quarter, strong year. That's right. But hit him hard, Steven.
We had record levels of annual card member spending, record net card fees, and a record 13 million new card acquisitions. We also saw continued high card member retention, best-in-class credit performance, and disciplined expense management. We continue to enrich our membership model, refreshing over 40 products globally in 2024, including the U.S. Consumer Gold Card, which is particularly appealing to millennial and Gen Z consumers, as well as refreshing our Delta co-brand cards. We're confident that we will continue to bring in large numbers of new premium customers, especially millennial and Gen Z consumers and small businesses, while also maintaining high growth across our international business. For example, in the U.S., fee-based consumer premium cards are the fastest growing part of the industry, and we have about 25% of those cards, indicating a continued upside opportunity. Across the industry, the number of millennials and Gen Z consumers with premium products are growing at an even faster rate, and we're adding highly creditworthy customers in these cohorts faster than the industry, with substantial room to continue this growth. It's clear that our premium products are resonating well with these age groups, whose spending needs will continue to expand as they move forward in their lives and careers. This includes our ongoing focus on our product refresh strategy. Currently, we're refreshing between 35 and 50 products a year, and we're planning to maintain that pace in 2025, along with other enhancements to our membership model for both our consumer and commercial customers.
There it is, right there. That's that is it right there. That is where they're saying their roadmap for the future is revamping 35 to 50 products every single year. We know last year in 2024, like you mentioned earlier, we got the gold refresh, we got the Delta card refreshes, got a lot of different refreshes. And it's just so funny. If you listened a little bit earlier, he mentioned looks like millennial and Gen Z absolutely loves our products and they love our memberships, right? Meanwhile, if you just look a little bit, you can see, all the people who have since canceled or have thought about canceling their platinum cards or gold cards and what have you all throughout the year. I mean, everybody in our space knows this, right? Everybody in our space absolutely knows this. And it's just funny to see record numbers, record credit card acquisitions, which we'll see a little bit later. They may got about 13 million credit card acquisitions, a lot of which ended up being on an annual fee basis. But right then and there, I think that language is what scares a lot of people to think are we actually finally getting our Amex Platinum card eventual refresh, right? It's almost 4 years now that we've had the 695. Is it going to 800? Are we getting different credits? Are they taking away credits? What's going to happen to the Platinum card, right? It's definitely got on everyone's minds for sure. And it definitely seems as if the CEO knows what they're doing going forward. And they say, we're going to stay strong with our strategy, keep refreshing the cards. It's just funny that he says the consumers love our cards, which I believe is true. It's just, what about the credit card community on YouTube? It's I wanted to hear a mention of it, but they did not. All right, let's keep listening.
Comes from the line of Erica Najarian with UBS. Please proceed with your question.
Hi, good morning. Just wanted to continue to unpack the billing story for 2025. When I look at the proprietary net cards acquired,
Billing, aka how much people are spending on their cards, how much they're earning from annual fees, interest, and swipe fees, what have you.
So there's a lot in your question, Erica. Let me try to address most of the points. The accounting around how we account for the welcome incentives. But the point here is that we invested a lot in 2024, and we got a lot of cards, 13 million cards, which is a record for the company.
Okay, so you could see there him mentioning something about marketing spend and that being in relation to the welcome incentive. So the welcome offer you get on these cards. And so what he's kind of mentioning there is how much money are they really footing on increasing these welcome offers over time. And what they have found, essentially, as per what he just mentioned, is that, they did have a higher marketing spend for sure, but it was also led by a higher increase in credit card acquisition. So essentially, the higher the welcome offer, in this case with welcome incentives, like he mentioned, or other welcome incentives, the higher credit card acquisition, the better the company has done just by getting more and more people in this case 13 million in 2024, to get their credit cards, get their annual fee credit cards, and keep swiping on them. And so it almost seems like he's mentioning that these welcome offers likely are to continue staying high and or continuing higher, despite some of the changes that we've seen lately, where it says, like, instead of earn 80,000 points, like guaranteed, it'll say, oh, earn up to 175. So, if you apply, maybe you'll get 175, but maybe you'll get 80, depending on if we think you're a valuable customer or not. So that's an interesting sneaky change that they have done recently that you can see on some tabs. Just something to note nonetheless, that marketing spend is going towards these welcome offers, and they're seeing great acquisition from these welcome offers. So at least that makes me think the high welcome offers are going to stay around for the future. But let's see.
Good morning. Steve, it looks like the Capital One Discover merger is going to go through. Any thoughts on the competitive impacts? I know they don't have, incremental affluent consumers, but, it's more scale, ability to build lounges, and they do compete, SME.
And for those of you who are unfamiliar, about last month, December 19th, Delaware actually gave the okay for Capital One to acquire a Discover, and they're asking, how do they see this as a competitor kind of going forward? So I thought it was an interesting question.
Yeah, look, I think, Rich is a really smart CEO, and I think it's a really good deal for them. Picks up a debit network and picks up a lot more scale at, I think he becomes the largest credit card lender in the United States. That is a multifaceted company, not only with debit and credit cards, but with a bunch of loans and what have you, from a car, student, and so forth. So I think it fits very nicely in with their strategy. Capital One with VentureX is making inroads. Within the premium space. I think we continue, though, to more than hold our own.
Everybody with a VentureX card right now is eyeing CEO at the moment.
And look, they're a formidable competitor, but I think also they'll have their hands full with integrating Discover over the next couple of years, and we will continue to evolve our products with our product refreshes, and we look forward to competing with them. I think that's what you're seeing, and as we expand some of our lounges, we'll be making some more investments, not only in new lounges, but we'll be expanding some of the existing lounges as well. But
in adding more lounges and expanding other ones, I thought that was interesting as well.
Our card members, while they like the rewards, they also like all the experience and the access that we put around it. And so by making sure that we're balancing our investments in these areas, we're able to give people the best of both worlds.
Thank you. Our next question.
Christophe, I was wondering if you could maybe shed a little bit more light into your credit commentary. The credit's been doing pretty well. It seems like it's outperformed what you've been looking for, stable this year. You talk about why you might be expecting a little bit of a modest increase from here. Is that conservatism on your part, or do you think you could actually see a better result than that?
Yeah, so I'll disappoint you with the first answer, but so look, we're gonna do between 35 and 50. I'm not going to comment on which ones and pre-announce. I think that
changes 35 and 50 changes for cards, and he won't.
We'll let you speculate on what's going to happen, but yeah, we look to refresh products on an ongoing basis, and when we feel the need that those products need refresh, and so.
Come on, son. 35 to 50, and we'll let you speculate, baby. And then they'll drop it on us on one day, and then all of credit card YouTube will go crazy, as they prefer to do.
It truly is an organic story. And, I just said, as you pointed out, I'm not going to talk about refreshes, but I think it really comes down to.
He's not going to talk about them, guys. All right, let's just drop it there. He's not going to talk about refreshes.
I just want to remind as well that on these 13 million cards that we acquired this year, 70% are joining the franchise on a fee-paying product, right?
Oh, man. 13 million. That's right. 13 million new cards in 2024, which was a 6.6% increase year over year, as opposed to 2023 with 12 million cards. That is insane. 13 million cards. I believe that's like about 10% or a little less than 10% of their total outstanding cards. And you hear what he just said. Majority, not the minority, majority percent were ones that came on an annual fee basis, a membership basis. So paying an annual fee of, like a $95 up to $695 with American Express credit cards. That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow, that's very interesting.
Together with the very strong renewal rates that we see as well. So it's just been a very successful story for us, not only recently, but over the last 5 years. And that success is going to keep on in 2025.
Keep going, baby. It's going to keep going.
Thank you.
Competition from fintechs and how that has been evolving. You talked a little bit about it on the commercial side earlier in response to Craig's question, but maybe just talk about it on the consumer side as well. Specifically, I was wondering, we've been seeing some pretty rich cashback offers from some of the newer entrants in the market, if you will. Is that starting to have any impact on drawing customers away from the traditional rewards card? And just what are you seeing on competition there from the fintech in the consumer side? Thank you.
I would say I'll go back to the answer I gave before. I think Rick Shane asked the question before about how we invest. I think our card member is a little bit different. And they're really not really focused on cashback. We have cashback products for those that like it, but our card members are more focused on a balance between rewards, experience, and service. And so from a fintech perspective on the consumer side, we really have not seen anything. Not that we don't look at it, not that we're not aware of it, but again, it's about knowing your customer. And our customer, is one that really does value that experience, access and service, as well as having rewards with it. So,
and that, I will say, is very true. I mean, anytime anybody talks about like some of these higher tier premium cards, more specifically the Platinum Card Travel Lifestyle, you could definitely see a difference in whether or not they're getting value from the points back and et cetera, or just experience that they're getting via the lounge access, via, some of the different hotel franchises they partner with, all these different things. And so I think that does make a lot of sense. And it's funny that they mentioned like, cash back and, is this, are you considering something different with your cards? And basically the CEO just saying like, listen, our people don't care about cash back. Essentially. So I thought that was very interesting that he noted that. So I don't know. Are we going to get an actual refresh? Are we getting a platinum card at $800? And are we going to get a whole bunch of new credits that is likely easy to use? Well, I think we know the answer to that. I mean, I think with record high, credit card acquisitions in 2024, I think they're going to continue on their plan of high welcome offers to get people in the door and get them to keep spending on the card. Apparently, the refreshes have been largely popular outside of anybody in the credit card community. So what would I realistically see if I was like, are we going to get a prediction on a refresh that we would get? Now, personally, obviously, my dream scenario would be, hey, raise it to $850, raise it to like an $850 annual fee. Give me nothing else. I don't want any of this. Just get rid of it all. Give me a $500 credit towards the Fine Hotels and Resorts program. And then for any lounge access that we could actually have access to, instead of charging my spouse, my wife, $50 every time we go into a Centurion Lounge or a Delta Sky Club, just give me like 8 total passes between Centurion Lounge, Delta Sky Club every single year. And to me, if I'm able to maximize all of them, which I'm likely to not, just given my personal situation, that's a cool, $400 in value, which I would say more than pay for the annual fee of an $800 or $850 platinum card, should that ever happen. Are we ever going to get that? And it's the most simplistic approach? Likely not. No, likely it's going to make the way of the Amex Gold card, where maybe we break up this hotel credit in half and we get like a $300 hotel credit, but it's $150 every 6 months, much like the Aspire card. Or we're going to be getting like a Resi credit, where same with the Amex Gold card, a $50 Resi credit every 6 months, or a $100 Resi credit every 6 months, something like that, since they're already starting to make those moves. And essentially just more of the same, just more of the same, more of these other benefits. I did, however, think it was interesting for at least some of the changes that happened around the world. This one specifically, they mentioned getting gutted by inches, essentially nerfing Priority Pass for supplementary cards. But then also this one from India, where they actually have a lot of interesting perks here, like Accor, which is, most of these hotels abroad, and some of these other like the I Prefer hotel brand Titanium memberships. So a lot of interesting things that they're doing abroad that you never know could happen in the States as well. So I just thought that was interesting. What do you guys think about the earnings call and what they're saying about the consumer? Are you the consumer that Steven Squarey says you are? Are you a millennial and Gen Z and you appreciate the refreshes? Or are you like most people in the community, like, I'm about to cancel myself? So let me know down below. Again, if you want to join the Discord where all this information is happening, link down below, and my newsletter. If I ever get any news like this, I can get to that faster. So newsletter, it's also free down below. Much appreciated if you use that. And of course, my website has all of these different credit cards if you want to apply for them. So thank you for being here all the way to the end. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much.